What's up, 88ers? Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in live. Today we're talking about old school bodybuilding, baby. As you can see, we have a guest star. 88 sponsored athlete Miguel Paula's with us today, the old school specialist, baby.
I like that title.
I like it too. I don't know if I deserve it yet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So without further ado, let's get it kicked off. Go ahead, Camille.
Absolutely. So let's, before we get into talking about the golden era of bodybuilding, let's just talk a little bit about our sponsored athlete, Miguel. So Miguel, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, maybe some of your achievements over the last year or so.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Miguel Paula. I'm 36 years old. Just got into bodybuilding competition-wise. I would say last year, so going on 2 years solid now. Done 3 shows so far, and we're gearing up for getting ready for that 4th show now. Some achievements. Right off the bat, had a lot of fun, and I feel like success in the competing league. Took 3rd place last year in the first show that I did at the Philly Classic.
That was a competitive show, y'all. It really was. There's some stellar physiques up there.
And then again this year took 3rd place in men's open at the Philly Classic, and 2nd place novice, and then competed in OCB at the Conquer this year and took 2nd place for that too. So I feel like I've had a really fast start so far to my career in this.
Absolutely.
I agree. And let me tell you something, y'all. These were competitive shows.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in this industry for a minute. Not all shows are competitive. Every physique that showed up was stellar.
Yeah.
At all of these shows. I mean, they weren't very big. The Philadelphia's not very big, but every single physique was stellar.
Well, and I'll tell you what, the OCB Conquer, Miguel went up against 9 athletes in his class. 9, y'all. Like, I don't even know how they fit across the stage.
It was a big stage. Everybody was kind of like we are right now.
Absolutely. So that's great. So why are you the old school specialist, Miguel?
I feel like I don't know if I deserve the title yet, but the old school specialist, because I like to do things the old school way, I guess. A lot of hard work, hours in the gym, a lot of dumbbells, compound movements, free weight movements. Just stick with the basics and then build up from there. Obviously, I like to build on it with like some of the machines that we have now that are available, cables and like isolation machines.
Absolutely.
But I feel like that's a good title.
Definitely.
Sure. Hey, Leah, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And so tell us, like, what is the next show? Like, what does the lead up to that look like for you?
So the next show is the OCB Chesapeake Classic, October 12th this year. Lead up for it right now, I've been working on bulking. I've been trying to do that clean.
That is so hard.
Honestly,
look at the physique, yo. That is a clean bulk right there.
I'm trying. I'm at 225 right now. 20 pounds of weight gain since the show, which has been actually 4 weeks to today.
Okay.
It's been I've been doing that. So I've been tracking everything. Right off the bat, I did go a little bit crazy with
Of course, I think all athletes do.
Of course.
But I've tapered that back. I've kept my cardio, just not as intense as it was. I do cardio probably about 3 times a week. 15 minutes at a session right now.
That's good.
Because I keep trying to tell myself I want to gain weight, but not fat.
Right.
So I'm trying to add the muscle mass and keep the skin dry and keep the physique in tight and that lat to weight ratio. You know.
There you go.
I want to put a star next to what Miguel just said. You want to get big, you don't want to get fat.
Yeah.
Right.
So many bodybuilders use the bulk as an excuse to get fat.
Right.
There's no reason to get fat in the off season, ladies and gentlemen. There is no reason whatsoever
I mean,
to
just
get fat.
even think about it. Like, as soon as he's going back into that cut for October, think of how much harder it is if he's got to reduce a lot of body fat.
Yeah.
So it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else you want to add?
I do. He's going to dominate at Chesapeake in October, baby.
Yeah.
We're coming home with that pro card.
Yeah, we
you
are.
heard it here right now.
That's right. And what's your social media, Miguel, if they want to follow you?
On Instagram, natty_88. Facebook is just my name, Miguel Paula. And that's all I have right now for social media. I think I need to get a little bit more active.
Yeah, well, definitely force him to get more active, y'all. Go to his page on Instagram or Facebook and follow him, and definitely track his progress all the way up to the Chesapeake Classic.
Yeah, I love his Instagram stuff. I mean, it's great stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely motivation.
I love his Instagram.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're here today to talk about old school bodybuilding. And one of the reasons we wanted to cover this topic today is because James is actually launching a new series starting next week.
Hey, we got the Old School Bodybuilding series coming. First video drops Wednesday this week, 5 a.m. Check her out. Old School Bodybuilding series coming up.
Absolutely. And you know the Old School Specialist is going to be in that series. So stay on the lookout to see Miguel as well in that. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about old school bodybuilding and what makes it special. I know from my perspective, it's just the training style and what was available. A lot of dumbbell and a lot of barbell use.
Yeah.
Got it. Fundamentals. So back in the day, there were no machines. There were no cables. All you had was dumbbells and barbells, maybe a bench.
Yeah, and I think they, really love to focus on those basic movements, those big, heavy compounds, the squats, the deadlift, the bench, all that good stuff. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about it. So let's get into bodybuilders today. What are the training techniques today? And then let's compare that to the golden era.
A lot of guys like to come in, and I think it's just because of, I'm not going to say guys, beginners come in and get on machines right away. I think it's because of ignorance. They're afraid of the free weights because they don't know how to use them.
Right.
Yeah. You go to any machine in any gym, it's got a picture on it that shows you how to use it. So that takes your ignorance away immediately, but then you're locked into machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think today too, there's been so many studies done since the 70s, 80s. So there's a lot more science behind bodybuilding today, which I think
100%.
Makes it different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's not exactly related, but I think back to Rocky IV. They got the one guy he's competing against, and he's measuring his punch, the science behind it,
And Rocky was out in the mountains.
Yeah, they had him hooked up. Yeah.
So just think about that. It's just a funny analogy there, but definitely more advanced methods today and science behind it. Even the way the machines are built.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you got nutrition advancements, you got training advancement, you got machine advancement. We're talking 40 years ago. A lot of stuff's changed in 40 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even just looking at the nutrition, the ability to track your macros, the FDA going online and saying you shall provide the nutrition information on all these foods.
And then you have access with these apps that allow you to track your food. You can scan those barcodes.
Yeah, it's so easy.
Do your math for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you read Mike Mentzer's book, he tells you get your pen and paper out. Start adding up your macros, baby.
I think there was even food lookup book tables back in the day. Yeah. So that makes it really interesting. Even just nutrients and supplement timing, there's so much more information and studies that have been done to try to figure out when you need to take what, how much you need to take, and all that good stuff. Training today looks a little different too. I think a lot of people.
Back up. I mean, there weren't hardly any supplements back then.
Yeah.
You had a protein powder and a liver tab.
Liver tab.
Now you got 10,000 different supplements across the board.
Now we got the Liver King.
I distinctly remember 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade, I wanted to work out. I wanted to be a bodybuilder even back then. So I scrounged up, I don't know, $5 and got a bottle of liver tabs. I distinctly remember. And I was jamming liver tabs in the 5th grade.
All right, what else? I mean, today's world, we focus a lot on isolations. There's pretty much a machine or something for each body part, and you can isolate, right?
So that's actually one of my favorite things about the gym that I'm at now is that there's so many machines for isolation.
What gym you at?
Yeah, where are you training at?
I'm training at the Training Center gym up in Newcastle.
There you go.
A lot of good things.
That gym is dope, y'all.
Phenomenal.
I'm so jealous every time you post a video. You were just doing pendulum squats or something.
I was there for that. Yeah. So they have all the good machines like that. and then they break it down. You have like isolating leg extensions, hamstring curls, all the stuff that's real niche to dial it in for you.
Yeah.
So compare that to free weight squats. What do you think is better, worse? I mean, you like it's new because it's exciting. You're gonna like it, but how about results wise? What one thinks gives you better results?
So for me, I'm going to sound crazy right now, but I like the isolation machines, but I like to pair them with my free weight squats. I like to put, either that or maybe pre-exhaust, wake up the hamstrings or wake up the quads first on the machines and then go hit the weights. That way I can do a lighter weight with a little bit more volume on it and still like bring out the deepness in the striations of the muscle without doing too heavy and destroying my
That's a great strategy. That's a really great strategy.
So we had a pendulum squat at Gold's Gym when I worked there. What I liked about it is you could actually go to failure safely. All you have to do is hook that, and if you don't hook it, you bottom out. You're not getting crushed. The weight's not on you. And a free weight squat, if you fail, that weight's on your back.
Yeah, I don't think safety was really a concern in the golden era with Arnold and Mentzer and Draper and all of them. Definitely not. What about like physique wise? What do you think the difference is between today and maybe like back in the day?
I mean, they're obviously bigger these days.
Oh, man.
A lot bigger. You know, you had the good aesthetic look back in the golden era. That's the big draw. That's still the big draw. That's why classic bodybuilding was invented, because you have that nice tight waist aesthetic look, whereas today the big guys, their guts are blown out. They're not necessarily aesthetic. They're just humongous.
Yeah. I think, too, is just there's so much more access, like we said, to supplements and information on nutrition and everything else. Golden era kind of paved the way for everybody, and we have like that room to build off of.
Absolutely.
They definitely we're the first pathfinders. They paved the way for the rest of us.
Yeah,
absolutely. And y'all, just a reminder, like we are here for you. So if you have questions that are unrelated to this topic, like fire them away in the chat and we'll for sure answer that. But we always come prepared with a topic. So we'll keep talking about what we're prepared to talk about, but certainly any questions, hit us with it. And so, anytime. All right. All right. So let's talk a little bit now about the golden era of bodybuilders. Like, what about just training in general? Like, they definitely utilize a lot of basic movements.
Yeah.
So why do you think that is?
Everything was basic function movement. They're training for life. They weren't, the golden era actually started in the 50s and really stopped in the 80s. So you got a 30-year window there where they're really just discovering bodybuilding.
Right.
And making it big. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm getting ahead of myself. He came onto the scene and blew bodybuilding up. Before that, it was so small, discreet. Most people never even heard of it.
Absolutely. Do you think the reason they focus on those basic movements is just from where they stemmed and how in the past it kind of came from almost like strong events?
Yes. Yeah. It was. The first bodybuilding shows came from strongman events. So they would make the bodybuilders lift first, like a powerlifting competition, and then they would pose.
Could you imagine that?
Way back.
Man, that'd be exhausting. I mean, being up on stage now is already tiresome enough. Imagine doing the whole routine.
Right.
If you know the name Sandow, that's the Olympia statue. If you're a historian, you should know the name Sandow. He's the first one to come out that wasn't overweight. So these power lifters, these strong men, they're big, chunky, corn-fed guys. He's the first one to come out that was lean, and he was outlifting them. That's why Sandow is known as the first bodybuilder. He invented posing. That's another one Sandow did. So if you haven't heard the name Sandow, that's why.
Yeah, I'm surprised I actually don't have,
well,
we should be talking about
research now. Like, I need to know more.
It is like incredible, like how it actually got started and how popular those events got over time. And then after a while, they just tossed the strongman part off and said, we're just going to go after the aesthetic part of it. And that's how you basically got modern day bodybuilding. What about nutrition and lifestyle? I mean, I always think about that and how much we have available to ourselves. Like back then, they had to eat food.
Yeah. Well, All right, so I actually been eating a lot more food lately, so I can relate to that right now myself. I'm trying to do it that way through throwing calories, baby stepping them. You know what I mean? Doing about like a 20% increase on my calories from the base each week.
Right.
Smart. Yeah, trying to step up my weight about 2.5 pounds a week.
That's smart.
Until I get to the goal weight of 235. So right now it's a lot of food, but it's worth it. It's just sometimes getting that food in the window. Like I try to eat not too much later than like 7 p.m. So getting 3,500 calories.
That's a lot of food, y'all.
Yeah, it's a lot of food, especially when I'm not doing a whole lot of calorie dense foods at this time. Yeah.
Hey, Joiner, appreciate you watching us, brother. It's a guy that used to work with us at Aberdeen Proving Ground. If you are on and you don't know what APG is, that's where Camille and I, our full-time jobs are. We still work at Aberdeen Proving Ground. Joiner has moved to Georgia, but he still watches our videos. He remembers us from the gym at Aberdeen Proving Ground. We awesome. Appreciate you joining in, Joiner. Appreciate that, brother.
Absolutely. Yeah, the food thing's hard. I know, Mike Mentzer, he was an interesting one because he always thought like people are just overnourished in general. So it's just an interesting topic on how they used to try to get all that food in.
Yeah, and keep in mind they didn't have protein powder, so they had to eat.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
That's a big help is the protein powder.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting probably about 250 plus grams of protein a day. Close to like 75, sometimes 100 grams of that is coming from the powder.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? That eliminates a whole lot of extra food that I have to eat right there.
It definitely does. And I think like it's a supplement at the end of the day. I know me myself, like I feel better when I eat real food.
Yes.
Like I definitely can tell a difference between eating a bunch of powders to get the nutrition or food. So just like you, like I try my best to get as much as I can from the food I'm eating, and then I just use the protein powder to supplement.
Yeah.
So
Convenience. It's very convenient. It's tough to get all that. I mean, especially when you're bulking, you got 3,500, you're already stuffed. So
I feel bloated all the time.
So if you can get a shake, it's easier on your stomach. There's less bloating. There's less fullness. It's just convenient.
Yeah. What do you think about aesthetics back in the day? Like they definitely appreciated like a very like non-bulky aesthetic look.
I kind of prefer that classic look.
Yeah, I do too.
To some of the looks today, like.
Big Rammy, if you're a fan of Big Rammy, I'm not. Nick Walker, if you're a fan of Nick Walker, he's humongous. He's a big dude, but his physique is ugly. It's not aesthetic. He looks like a box. He looks like a refrigerator. God bless him with his big, huge muscles, but he's not aesthetic. Neither was Big Rammy. Big Rammy won the Olympia. He's not aesthetic at all. He's just
his thighs are like this.
Yeah,
he got like
400 pounds,
50-inch thighs,
big,
60-inch thighs.
I mean, when I think about it, I think over time, like, yeah, initially it probably was really exciting for the fans to see these like chiseled statue looking physiques. And then after you've seen that for a while, you're like, I want something different. Like, give me those mass monsters, they're freaks, man. Like, so in my mind, I kind of think that that's probably how it crept over time. And if it was all just for the athletes competing, I think the athletes would have called it a long time ago and said, no, I'd rather that classic look. But I think the fan portion of the industry drove it to where it is today.
I agree.
It is. And IFBB, if you watch over history, over time, they always reward mass. Always. They killed women's physique because they basically just made it women's bodybuilding and kept rewarding the bigger girls, the bigger girls, the bigger girls. And now women's physique is a very unpopular category. When it started, it was huge.
Well, you just look over time and the IFBB and NPC and all the different divisions that they've added over time to try to combat that. Like it used to just be like women's bodybuilding, and then it was women's physique, women's figure, wellness, bikini, and same thing. You saw classic physique come back for the men, whereas before it was just bodybuilding or physique.
So I have seen that, at least just in my limited perspective over the last year and a half, that it seems like more people are competing in classic physique again, which is cool. I like seeing that classic come back.
It is the fastest growing class.
And it's a lot more of an attainable physique,
it is,
right?
It is.
It's reality. So when you look at Nick Walker, you go, this isn't real. There's no way I'm going to get that big unless I get on every drug under the sun. And it's not real.
We've even talked about me eventually potentially go into bodybuilding class.
He's got the wheels,
But-
y'all. He's
but
got
that
the
way-
wheels for it.
But that's like a 5-year at
Yeah.
least project, because in order to hit the stage with muscle at 250, 260 pounds,
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. I'm only 225 right now.
Another 25 pounds a month. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
A good thing, Jordan, you're still working out. Good thing, bro. Keep it up. And he's at a gym in Georgia called Fitness 2020, where a lot of vets work out.
Nice.
Outstanding.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is great. Keep it up.
Yeah, thanks to everyone for watching. Leela, I know you're on there and you have questions, so hit me with them. All right, so let's talk about some of those golden era legends.
All right.
I know one of me and James's favorite is Mike Mentzer.
You should have saw that one coming, y'all. Mike is the man. Mentzer is the man. I mean, I agree with almost everything he preaches.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can't. I have yet, over the years, read or listened to anybody as smart as Mike Mentzer and can put it as
Simple.
dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, like break it
that
down
I can
for
understand
you.
it.
Yeah.
He's taking his genius and he's bringing it to a dumb level that even I can understand it. And there's not another bodybuilder out there that's repeated that.
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you, like, for his time, it was a pretty radical approach. Like, he kind of had this philosophy for high intensity training, and it was a complete departure from what Arnold and everybody else was doing. And that kind of made him unpopular. Just like many other great people, they kind of became more famous in his death or after his death with his training styles. And because of some of that stuff he wrote, he almost has this like cult like following.
Well, what's happening is he died in the 90s, beginning of the 90s. What's happening now with YouTube, Instagram, everybody's confirming his philosophies. Accidentally or on purpose. They keep confirming his training principles and his philosophies over and over and over again. So that's why he sticks around. That's why he's still around.
Because of you guys mentioning Mike Mentzer last year, I stumbled across some YouTube videos that had his training methods and whatnot on there. And I implemented that last year, and I saw so much growth from doing Mike Mentzer style training. Giving your body, so like the key point of it for me was giving your body that time to rest. That recovery period. And doing that, like you said, I got wheels. My wheels came and blew up last year from implementing Mentzer to my legs, going to failure on them and then backing off and giving my body time to recover and repair. And like we saw it when I hit the stage, my legs were a good, I don't know, 5-6 inches bigger than they were last year.
They were outstanding. And you heard them. Training to failure. You got to be half crocked to train to failure on legs.
It is so hard, y'all.
You got to love it.
And that's where most people are going to fail. They don't go that hard. They don't go that intense. They stop short. And then they say Mentzer style doesn't work.
Nah, man.
You're not actually doing it.
What didn't work was you. That's what didn't work.
And I loved it too. I did it for an entire year. I think I ended up having to get my gallbladder out, and I was down for the count for 8 weeks, and I didn't make my way back to it. But when I was in that full like stream of doing that, like I loved it. I felt good. I wasn't beat up all the time.
And you feel strong.
You feel strong. You
like
are
when
strong.
You can go back into the gym and you see a measurable difference to the weight that you move. It doesn't matter if it's 2.5 pounds or 5 pounds. When that weight goes up and you can complete the same lift at a heavier weight for the same reps or better than last time. Man, there's something about that.
And you said it, and that is the only objective scale that you can track your gains. Anything else is subjective. You look in the mirror, I got a little bigger. Well, Camille says I didn't get a little bigger. Dang. But I just added a rep to this weight I couldn't do before. That's objective. I'm making gains.
Yeah, the other thing about him, he kind of challenged what Arnold and them were doing in terms of like training volume.
High volume.
Yeah, he was very much so like get in there, hit like one all out set, 6, 12 reps, whatever. And then you go home, right? You don't need to do this like excessive high volume. And at the time, like all of the athletes were doing like excessively high volume.
In the gym for hours.
Hours.
There's a good clip of Arnold, and he's talking about when it's chest day, you got to do incline and then flat and then decline. And then you got to do your flies, and then you got to do your pullovers, and then you got to go home and take a break and then come back later and finish. Finish with this because you didn't have enough energy. And it's like, dude, I work. I can't be in the gym for 5, 6, 7 hours. If I could, I would, but like I can't do that.
And that works for him, and he looked great.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're not saying that doesn't work.
But on top of that, if he went to failure on his first set, his first exercise,
Right.
do you think he would be able to do all the rest of that?
No. Because after, I mean, I'm not Arnold, but I've tried. I go to failure on the first set,
done.
and then you try to do more
Right.
after that, and you can't do that same weight.
It's like Mentzer said, you can work out hard or you can work out long.
Right.
You're not doing both.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think about Dave Draper?
I love Dave.
So I don't know who Dave Draper is.
What?
I'm not gonna
The
lie.
bomber, baby!
So, all right. Full confession time, especially while we're live.
Uh-oh.
I was completely ignorant to the bodybuilding world for a long time. Like I don't know a lot of big names, big athletes, anything like that.
No problem.
I got into it really for the love of the sport, and then when I found you guys, like
Right.
great coaches, man. I can't say anything better about you guys. Like you've made this journey and transition into this. Like,
Right.
phenomenal.
Oh,
Like,
man.
yeah. Oh yeah. No,
I
for
appreciate
sure.
that.
For sure.
Dave Draper's a bomber. He was around the same time as Arnold, right
Right.
before Mike Mentzer. I like Dave because he had a huge wingspan. His lats were crazy. He had bright blonde hair, looked like a surfer dude, straight out of California.
Yeah, definitely a striking appearance for sure. And he was charismatic too. Like
Yeah.
he had that authenticity to him that others didn't.
He's an artist. He was an actor, and he wrote a book. I actually read his book, Brothers and
Right.
Sisters in Iron. It is very, very well written. It's worth a read, but hashtag the science is outdated. So just don't pay attention to the old science. Some of the old stories in there are outstanding. He's talking about working out in
Right.
a room with no lights. There's a dripping leak dropping down on the equipment. It's
The
rusty.
dungeon.
It's dusty. And he would get in there every morning and just love it.
Yeah. Going to the wall sweat.
There you go. You got it.
We got a question, Camille.
All right. So how many sets per body part do you all recommend?
We were just talking about this. Do you do 1 to failure or do you do
Right.
3 to 4?
I think, you know, for me, everyone's different. You got to do what works for you. So like if you're doing Mike Mentzer style training, then 1 all out set is all you need
Yeah.
for that. If you're doing more of a traditional style, then you probably need at least 3 to 4 sets,
Yeah.
not including your warm up.
So I'll say that me right now, I'm not doing Mike Mentzer as far as the volume is concerned, but I'm doing it where I'm giving myself maybe like 2-3 days back to back to recover.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Because
smart. It's a hybrid.
I feel it in my body where I need the extra recovery time. But as far as my sets per body part, I'm doing a warm-up set, I'm doing 3 active sets, and then I'm doing a back-off set. So where
5 sets.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm doing 5 total. That warm-up, something real light just to activate that muscle group. My 3 working sets at the weight that I'm working out at. Rep range is 10 to 12 reps. And then that last one, I'm probably dropping 20 to 40% of the weight off of overall, and then probably hitting that 12 to 15 reps, just a little bit higher volume.
Get a little
Yeah,
burn.
that's a little bit of a hybrid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a hybrid. I mean, even if you watch Mentzer style people, they're going to hit 3 to 4 warm up sets
Yeah.
before they do that all out set.
Yeah.
So you're watching them. They're saying I'm only doing 1 set. They're still doing 3 to 4 before they hit that killer set.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, if you've ever like been on the leg press, you can't just load the thing up with like 10 plates per side and go and hit it. Like your joints, tendons, and all that are not warmed up. Like
Yeah.
you have to hit some lower, weight sets before, but they're nowhere near that max set.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, like that, what you just touched on, I need to hit those lower weights to wake up to warm up the
absolutely.
tendons, to warm up the joints.
Get everything firing off.
and then it's like, okay, let's move some real weight. Let's go do
Yeah.
something now, and then we can back off again. But
Right.
yeah,
I'm with you. And I'll go heavy. Like Miguel, I'll go heavy if I do a heavy set, and I don't actually feel the muscle because it's
Right.
too heavy to get a contract.
Mhm.
Then I will do the same thing as Miguel. I'll lighten it up and finish with a feel set
Right.
so I can feel the muscles.
yeah,
working.
Yeah, I mean, that's a smart strategy, right? Because we're here for hypertrophy, gaining muscle size. We're not training for strength. If you were training for strength, you would hit that set whether you felt it or not, and you would stop.
Be done.
Yeah.
But because you're trying to actually build muscle, yes, you need to like make sure you're, you know, doing all 3 phases of the lift, as James says, and the contraction's definitely part of it.
Yeah.
There was a big stank in the 90s when Dorian Yates was winning Olympias. They said he did the HIIT training style, and people would call him out and say, I just saw you do 4 sets. And he said, listen, knucklehead, that was 3 warm-ups,
Right.
1 real set.
Yeah.
So these people watching don't even know the difference between a warm-up set and a real set.
All right, we have another question. The question is, how much lighter do you go for the warm-up weight?
I like to pyramid up, like Camille said. So if we're going to do 10 plates on the
Right.
leg press, I'll start with 2, 4, 6, 8, and then hit 10.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing, if not legs, let's say we're doing chest or something like that, and I don't have the same stamina on my chest as I do my legs, I might do about 60 to 70% of my working weight.
Right.
I know that's some math in there. Right?
Yeah,
But
I mean,
like, let's say you're doing, you got your phone with you, but you say you're going to work out at 225 on the bench.
Yeah.
I'd warm up with about 60% of that weight, just to activate, give the muscle something to move first, and
Yeah, I'm more of like James. I definitely pyramid up with a, you know, I don't know quite what percentage. It depends how I'm feeling that day. Maybe even what I was doing before I got to lifting weights on whether things were warmed up. So
Yeah, I don't look at the math in my warm-up. I just look at my starting weight in my logbook and go, this is my starting weight. So I got to warm up to get to this weight, to get to my set. Yeah.
All right. So going back to our bodybuilders, what about Samir? What do you guys think about him? I know,
So I found Samir because he's actually affiliated with Old School Labs. And dude, I love him. Like he had a great look when he competed. Real big, broad shoulders, huge back.
Oh yeah, the back, man. The back.
That man's back. It was different.
It is definitely like a very lower back is so developed. Like look him up, y'all. Look him up.
So if y'all didn't know the story with Samir, he won the Olympia. He came back the following year, was probably going to win it again, but he was dehydrated.
Oh.
He had to do a bunch of stuff before he hit the stage, which made him lose his lines, made him bloat. But he was literally locked up in his hotel room and wasn't even going to go on stage. And guess who saved him? Mike Mentzer went in and said, you need potassium. Start drinking potassium right now or you're going to die.
Wow. That's intense. And
that's who went in and saved Samir.
But yeah, Samir was just always into weightlifting. I think he started weightlifting at 16. He even just left everything, moved to the United States, and was like, "This is what I want to do."
Oh yeah,
like,
he's from
Lebanon. Yeah, he's from Lebanon.
Lebanon.
Who's our favorite bodybuilder? Back in the day, Mike Mentzer, baby. I gotta go with Mike. I mean, I can't.
I just, because
Mike
of the
Mentzer.
training style. For me, it's Mike.
And you know what? Even today, it's still Mike. Mike Mentzer.
All right, so if we're gonna say today, dude, I'm gonna sound so cliche, whatever. C-Bomb, dude. Like
Bumstead.
He is awesome.
I love Bumstead, but also Wesley Visser.
Oh,
yeah. He's bringing some excitement to the sport.
Yes,
I love listening to his videos.
His height, his muscle definition. That dude's killing the game right now.
We do watch Visser's YouTube.
A lot, yeah.
So if you want to check Wesley Visser's YouTube out, it is awesome. He talks about workout. He talks about nutrition.
Yeah.
He shows you what he's eating. He shows you what he's doing. He's got a great accent. He's got a great voice. Wesley Visser's.
Absolutely. That's a good call. Yeah.
Good
what about Arnold? We got to talk about Arnold. Come on, guys.
I said it earlier. Arnold put a bodybuilding on the map.
Yeah.
You know, it was so obscure before that. He came in, movie star, bodybuilding, promoted the whole sport, promoted himself, promoted everything.
Papa Arnold, man.
Arnold, baby. And one thing he does give back to the sport. So he's got the Arnold Classic, not only here, but over in Europe. He just matched the Olympia money for the Arnold Classic. So the Arnold Classic is going to make as much money as the Olympian.
Oh, nice.
So that ought to change who's competing in the Arnold.
Right.
And then you do see him still active a lot too. Like he's out, he's lifting, he's out in California, he's in the community, he's like all over the place. Yeah.
He still goes to the Arnold every year. He gives a speech, he meets the winners.
He loves the sport, the love for it never left him. Yeah.
You can see that passion. I think that's what made Arnold and what brought bodybuilding to the spotlight was his passion for it.
Absolutely.
And he's so passionate, it just melts off to everybody else, and they get passionate about it as well.
I mean, yeah, you just think about that legacy he's left behind, like 5 decades in the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just truly commendable. That
and like Miguel said, he's still in the industry. He didn't win his stuff and hit the road, and you never hear from him.
Dude, he's still active on Instagram right now. Like, I follow his Instagram account, and he posts stuff all the time.
He
Like,
definitely does. I love it. He's still in there hitting the gym.
Oh yeah.
Ronnie Coleman too.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
I love that when the old school guys link up and he does the workouts with them. I'm like, yes.
Be strong. We got Serge Nubret and Phil Heath. Serge Nubret's an old guy. I believe he's from France, actually. And then Phil Heath, of course, is the...
I have mixed emotions about Phil, but it's all right. Like, he is incredible still, nevertheless.
I missed the first part. You did what?
I said I have mixed emotions about Phil. He definitely has this almost like cocky attitude about it, but that's part of kind of like the charm of Phil Heath too.
Yeah.
So I'm a big Serge Nubret fan, but Phil Heath's not so much. His nickname is The Gift, and he was gifted an awful lot throughout his career that he did not deserve, in my opinion.
Oh man, tell us how it is, James.
I mean, how many people called him out in the beginning of his career when he was winning Olympias that his shoulders were too big for his chest. I mean, Dorian Yates, every bodybuilder out there said he shouldn't be the top. His chest is too small for his shoulders. He was caught it up after 5 or 6 years, but his first couple Olympias, look up the pictures.
Yeah.
See what you think. But still, he got gifted.
It's a call to action, y'all. Look up the photo.
Check out his video with his early Olympia wins, and you will see, man, his shoulders just dominate his chest.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, so definitely, like, there's definitely something to old school bodybuilding. Like that simplicity of training, the simplicity of nutrition.
Yeah, that old classic look, man.
Yeah.
You mentioned Wesley Vissers, but man, he looks just like Arnold.
He's
bringing about face and physique.
He's bringing it back.
Just like Arnold, that classic look, that aesthetic look.
Right.
It looks so great. Looks, I mean, that's the look you want.
Wide wings, tapered waist. You know what I mean? Solid legs, not too overblown, but
it's good,
chiseled.
Good look. The way it should look, in my opinion. Excuse me, Nick Walker, no offense. But the way it should look with that nice tapered waist, not a big blowed out gut.
Right. So yeah, definitely there's something to it. And for those beginners or intermediates out there watching this content, like old school bodybuilding is where you start. You're doing the big basic compound lifts, and that's what's going to give you that strong foundation of mass. So definitely be on the lookout for that upcoming series. We've got an old school bodybuilding video for every single body part, one of which Miguel's in. So definitely check him out. Yeah.
Keep an eye out for Miguel as well. Come August, September, October, right around his competition time, we're going to be shooting videos with him. So you're going to see Miguel awful lot coming up, leading up to his show. We're going to leave him alone a little bit while he's talking. Once he starts leaning out, we're going to get him on Instagram. We're going to get him on videos. We're going to get him on as much as we can.
And yeah, show your support for Miguel. Head over to Instagram, nattydaddy_88.
That's right.
Yeah, show him some love, y'all, for sure. All right, Miguel, do you want to tell us a little bit about Old School Labs and what they have to offer? Because I love their supplement line.
Yeah, so I love their supplement line too. I've been almost exclusively Old School Labs, like whatever. Old School Labs has been my thing for the past few years. Yeah, I love their protein. It's a tri-blend protein. It's meat molecule, egg white molecule, and milk molecule. So it's like tri-source protein right there.
3 different sources.
I love their recovery stuff that they have. It's one of my favorite is the Replica GH, but it's just a bunch of amino acids. Hit the body really hard. For post-workout, help you recover real fast.
I like their pre-workout.
I like their pre-workout too. The Vintage Blast, and then if you're looking for something with a little bit more punch, they got that Blast Max.
Woo! It works, y'all. It really does work. We have that one.
Ears tingle.
I like their sleep aid.
Oh,
Yeah, Leela, you were asking about sleep aids. That's actually a really great one by Old School Labs that you can check out.
Yeah, it's got a like a full list of breakdown of different ingredients, and they're all natural. A lot of it's like plant root extracts and stuff. Helps you sleep. And of course, like your gains are made when you rest. So sleep is definitely one of the most important
I know
things.
for me, just because I'm so busy during the day, it's really hard to like shut off sometimes.
Yes.
And so what I love about that sleep aid is it helps you to fall asleep. But if you want to wake up, you can wake up and you're not all groggy.
Yeah, you don't have that like NyQuil type feel. Like, you know what I mean? When you wake up, and it is like just you can't get it together. Yeah,
you know, I've quoted winning strength a million times, and somebody will take a pill to wake up. They'll take a pill to recover. They'll take a pill to get the recovery, this energy. You name it. But you mentioned sleep, and they're going, "Oh, I just struggle. Oh, I just struggle."
No wonder you struggle.
Exactly. You take all these supplements for everything but sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep is the most important thing for
Absolutely.
your recovery.
For sure.
If you need a sleep pill, take one.
All right, Miguel. So how did they get some Old School Labs?
Old School Labs, you can find the supplements at oldschoollabs.com. If you go through that method, use my code, you get some money off when you check out. It's Miguel 15. You can also, if you don't feel like waiting on the postal service sometimes, you can go straight to Amazon and get a good bit of their supplements.
No, y'all. Miguel 15, come on.
Help me
Help me out.
Competing's expensive. Miguel 15, go to his Instagram. I'm sure he's got a link on there for you.
I do.
Help Miguel out. Spell it.
Spell Miguel.
Oh, Miguel 15.
There you go, y'all. Save some money. Help our boy out. Great line of supplements.
Fantastic line. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining in. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. James and I are here every single Sunday at 12 Eastern. So definitely tune in. Ask us any questions that you may have. And definitely check out all of the playlists. We have tons of content every day. So we'll keep it coming. We appreciate you and all of the comments. All right. See you next time, y'all.